Hey Eric, this is Chad. I just want to respond to your question, and to be honest, it's just easier for me to do it via video than typing this all out. I like your line of questioning. I think that's an important way to be thinking. I don't disagree with Victoria that perhaps you're getting a little bit deep in the weeds at this stage of dissertation planning. Yeah, whatever. I understand that, but I want to answer your question because I think it's an important one. Mesro and I think we're going after different things. Mesro was trying to develop a comprehensive theory of learning. I think he just did brilliant work. But from the perspective of transformative learning as it is now, it evolved. Mesro, he put forward a theory of learning, a theory of transformation. He had very clear ideas, and he's very articulate about what he meant by that form of transformation. The problem is, as Victoria pointed out, he called it perspective transformation, transformation theory, and transformative learning. And it's funny because when Victoria pointed out that when he used transformation theory, he meant something beyond just what he espoused. Like he meant there's what I'm talking about, but other people are talking about other things. And you can see that he really felt that way. When he put together his edited 2000 book, he was very obviously saying, my view isn't the only one out there. There are some other people with some really good work around transformation. But there's confusion in the literature, seemingly, that, what do terms refer to? So what I was doing was not trying to put forward a specific theory of transformation, a theory of, what it is, I was saying what it is. What I was trying to do was to provide some analytic tools so that scholars could be more clear about what they mean. So, as you've read, I said that transformative learning is learning that affects how a person, how they experience the world. So it's going after their felt experience, how they think and conceptualize things, and how they act, how they behave in the world. And I was purposely, and I said that those experiences would have to have sufficient depth, breadth, and permanence, or relative stability. And my point in saying that was, I'm trying to put a big fence around a bunch of phenomena out there, saying, there's a lot of learning phenomena. If you want to call it transformation, it needs to be these things. Basically, it needs to be impactful. So it needs to be transformative. But really, it needs to be transformative. So I was trying to offer some concepts to say, this was what I mean by transformative. If it meets those criteria, then sure, fair enough. That's a transformation. But then, like my typology and stuff, what I was trying to do was to give language to scholars, so that basically I'm saying, if you're saying that it's transformative, if you're saying that it's within this fenced-off area of learning phenomena, then there's still a lot of wiggle room in there. There's ways that people change in dramatic ways that are transformative. They fit within the broad parameters that I set, but they're still distinct from each other. So you have transformation the way that Mesro talked about, but if somebody, let's say they develop cognitive capacity, they begin to think with greater complexity. So maybe with Keegan's model or any other model of cognitive development, that also I think could be very transformative, but it's not what Mesro was talking about. And when people like John Dirks talk about individuation and things like that, yeah, that's transformative, but it's not what the other people were talking about. So what I was trying to do is say, okay, here's a broad playing field for us. Just, if you want to talk about transformation, stay within those fences. If you're talking about something that's outside those fences, just call it something else. Now, within those fences, and that's why I called it a metatheory, within those fences, there's room for multiple theories of transformation. There's room for multiple ways that people transform. So now let's just be really clear about what we mean. So the purpose of the typology is to say, if you're saying they change in dramatic ways, how? Are they changing in their epistemology? And if so, how are they changing in their epistemology? Are they changing in their ontology, in the way that they exist in the world, the way they feel it, the way their day-to-day, moment-to-moment lived experience? Then be specific about what you mean. And my hope for that is that that transformation theory broadly defined. So this theory that people can change in dramatic ways, that it can have some staying power, because my fear is that if we use terms loosely and we use transformative learning to refer just to anything, as Newman complained and others, then he's right. It doesn't mean anything. But I think an important distinction to make is there's a difference between phenomena that occur in the world and our analytic tools for talking about the phenomena. So for Newman to say that people use the term transformative learning too loosely, therefore there's no such thing as transformative learning, I just differ with his way of thinking. I would approach it as, are there learning phenomena that, as Mesereau described, has transformative dimensions? And if we think there is, then the phenomena is happening. So it's up to us as scholars to talk about it more carefully. But there's always, I think Mesereau quoted Bateson as talking about that, but other people have as well. There's a difference between the phenomena and their words for describing the phenomena. So just because we're using words incorrectly or using words sloppily doesn't mean the phenomena doesn't exist. So again, in providing a meta theory, I was trying to provide a framework by which people could understand different types of transformation. What brings it together? What makes it transformation? And then to provide the conceptual tools so that we can distinguish between different types of transformation. And there's other people that try to do what I call meta-theoretical work as well. And meta-theoretical work is different than theoretical work, in my opinion. Meta-theoretical work is just where we try to create a space to organize other theories without really coming up with our own theory per se. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. If not, man, just let me know. I'm happy to respond to any other questions you have.